You're trying to get a receiver that won't make you second-guess a line on the field, that you can set up in 10 minutes and leave it alone for a whole day without worrying about rain or dust, and that actually saves you money instead of adding another hidden cost. Most people feel a little jittery when they pick up a new survey receiver because the spec sheets are full of numbers, but they don't tell you how the thing behaves when you're standing on a slope, juggling a rod and a laser, or trying to finish a job before the weather turns. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. In this review, I'll walk through the practical side of the Leica Rugby 680, the Rod-Eye 120 receiver, and the Alkaline kit, so you can decide whether it's the tool that fits your everyday workflow or just another pricey gadget. First off, the big selling point is the 4,000-foot range when you pair the Rugby 680 with a laser receiver. In the field, that translates to being able to lock onto a target from the edge of a large construction site or a sprawling farm without having to chase the signal around a hill. I've watched crews set up a base station at the top of a ridge and then walk 3/4 of a mile down to the work area, and the signal held steady. That kind of reach eliminates the need for extra repeaters, which can quickly add up in both equipment cost and time spent installing them. Accuracy is the next piece of the puzzle. Leica claims 1/16 inch ch at 100 feet, and in real-world use that means you can stake a fence line or lay a pipe and trust that the measurement won't drift by more than a fraction of a centimeter over the distance you're working. The horizontal self-leveling stays within 5 degrees, so you don't have to spend extra minutes manually leveling the device on uneven ground. When I saw a contractor use the Rugby 680 on a sloped driveway and still get a clean, repeatable line for the curb, it reinforced that the built-in self-leveling isn't just a gimmick. It actually reduces the small but cumulative errors that happen when you have to relevel by hand every few minutes. One feature that often trips people up is the dual-axis deal-in slope of 8 degrees. The smart slope to previous function remembers the last angle you set and lets you bring it back with a single turn. For anyone who has to lay out a road that snakes up a hill or grade a parking lot with a consistent crown, that memory function can shave off a lot of repetitive tweaking. The manual adjustment is also there if you need a precise, non-standard angle, say you're working on a custom drainage ditch that requires a 3.7-degree slope. Having both options in one unit means you're not forced into a one-size-fits-all approach. Durability is where the Rugby 680 really earns its keep. An IP67 rating means it can survive being submerged in a foot of water for 30 minutes and is dust-tight. In my experience, a lot of receivers get knocked around on a job site, and the last thing you want is a busted seal that lets moisture creep in and ruin the electronics. The Alkaline kit that comes with this package gives you a reliable power source for a full day of operation, and because alkaline batteries are cheap and widely available, you won't be hunting for specialty chargers when the job runs long. That translates into real savings when you compare it to some competitors that require proprietary lithium packs. Now, who should actually consider buying this setup? If you're a land surveyor, civil engineer, or contractor who regularly works on large, open-air projects where distance and environmental exposure are constant challenges, the Rugby 680 is a solid match. It also makes sense for utility crews that need to stake poles or lay cable across fields without setting up multiple base stations. The combination of long range, high accuracy, and rugged protection means you can trust the device to stay online and give you reliable numbers all day. On the flip side, if your typical jobs are confined to small indoor spaces, tight city blocks, or you only need occasional spot checks, you might be paying for capabilities you'll never tap. The 8-degree dual-axis dial is overkill for flat floor layouts, and the IP67 rating, while reassuring, adds to the price tag that could be better spent on a simpler receiver with a shorter range. Also, if you already own a Leica system that uses a different receiver model, the Rugby 680 might not integrate as seamlessly as you'd like, because the Rod-Eye 120 specific connection protocol could require a firmware update or an extra adapter you didn't anticipate. A practical weakness that shows up in field anecdotes is the learning curve around the smart slope memory. The first few times you use it, you might accidentally overwrite the saved angle, and then you have to re-enter the exact value you need. It's not a fatal flaw, but it does mean you need to develop a habit of double-checking the display before you lock.